Good morning. If you are a little tired this morning, I am right there with you. I was, of course, up to watch that. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is on assignment this morning. So you're with me. We're going to get started this morning at the White House, still on offense following that bombshell report on President Biden's handling of classified materials by special counsel Robert Hur. This morning, the president's allies are defending the commander-in-chief after that special counsel questioned his memory, but stopped short of charging him for mishandling classified documents. His likely Republican rival, Donald Trump, has created a firestorm of his own, and it even has some members of his own party trying to distance themselves from him after remarks he made at a campaign event in South Carolina over the weekend. Trump appeared to suggest that the U.S. would not defend NATO countries that did not contribute enough to the alliance. Take a listen to what he said.
Well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
NBC News White House correspondent Ali Rafa joins us now. Ali, good morning. So walk us through some of the weekend reaction we've seen to this special counsel's report on President Biden, what it said about his memory, and then tell us how it's impacting his campaign.
Yeah, Savannah, well, we really saw a full court press launched by the Biden team and Democratic allies over the weekend, coming to the president's defense in the aftermath of that special counsel report and those scathing details about his struggles with memories that the president denies. We saw several people trying to discredit the special counsel, saying that he's not a doctor, and because of that doesn't have a right to be giving any sort of cognitive analysis. We also saw the White House press team put out circulating a memo that quoted Republicans in the past complimenting the president's mental fitness. We saw on Meet the Press yesterday, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, as well as Biden campaign co-chair Mitch Landrieu, come to the president's defense. Listen to that here.
The most difficult part about a meeting with President Biden is preparing for it, because he is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
I'm telling you, this guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game. And as Secretary Mayorkas said a minute ago, when you go in to brief the president, you better have your big boy pants on. And this kind of sense that he's not ready for this job is just a bucket of BS that's so deep, your boots will get stuck in it.
And Savannah, the Biden team knows that the age issue isn't something they can obviously wish away. So over the next 9 months until Election Day, they plan to have a similar instances that we saw on the Sunday shows yesterday, with having Biden allies come out and talk about their personal interactions with the president, trying to restore any lost confidence in his ability to serve a second term. Savannah.
Ali, we're also seeing a mixed response by Republicans, of course, the former president's own party, over those controversial comments that he made over the weekend about NATO and Russia. How are those remarks being received? Tell us what we're hearing from within the Republican Party and from the former president's allies.
Yeah, those comments really ignited a firestorm of reaction over the weekend. We saw former Trump ally and former 2024 presidential candidate Chris Christie come out and say that this is why, for a long time, he has said that Trump is unfit to be president of the United States. Mr. Trump's lone GOP rival, Nikki Haley, slammed those comments, saying that the last thing we ever want to do is side with Russia. But Republican Florida Senator Marco Rubio actually rushed to the former president's defense, saying that every president at some point in some way has complained about other countries in NATO not doing enough. And Trump is just the first one to express it in these terms. But these remarks prompted notably a response from the chief of NATO, who said that the former president's comments put European and American soldiers at an increased risk. Savannah.
And Ali, while we have you, I do want to ask you about the health of Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. So on Sunday, he was hospitalized again. So, of course, the last time this happened, Austin had failed to immediately notify the White House as well as the public. That was when he was being treated for prostate cancer and became quite the controversy for him. What do we know about his condition this time? Why is he hospitalized and how's he doing?
Yeah, well, the Pentagon says that the defense secretary is back at Walter Reed Medical Center in the critical care unit this morning because of a, quote, emergent bladder issue. Officials are confirming that his duties have been transferred to Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks. The Pentagon saying that the White House and Congress were notified within hours of his admittance to the hospital. And of course, unlike, as you mentioned, his previous hospital stay. So this is obviously a very different approach here. And Austin's doctors say that these latest complications are not expected to impact what they anticipate to be a full recovery from his original cancer diagnosis, his prostate cancer diagnosis. But they are not sure how long he will remain hospitalized. The Pentagon, though, vowing to continue updating the public as he remains there, Savannah.
All right, Ali Rafa, thank you very much. Well, turning now to Houston, where a child is in critical condition after a shooting at the church of Pastor Joel Osteen. Officials say a woman entered Lakewood Church yesterday in between services with a long rifle and began shooting. The woman threatened that she had a bomb before two off-duty officers opened fire, killing her. The suspect was accompanied by a young child who is now critically injured after being shot. Police are still searching for a motive as to why the woman may have wanted to attack the church. Well, the father of one of 5 U.S. Marines who was killed in a helicopter crash in a remote part of Southern California last week is demanding answers about why the soldiers were flying during a significant weather event. NBC News' Priya Shrithar has more.
He just always wanted to be a Marine, and he's very proud to be a Marine.
Gregory Davis is struggling to come to terms with the loss of his son, 21-year-old Lance Corporal Donovan Davis.
He is probably one of the most soft-spoken, kindest, gentlest people I've ever met.
Lance Corporal Davis was one of 5 young Marines, all between the ages of 21 and 28, who lost their lives when the helicopter they were flying from Nevada to California crashed into a forest during one of Southern California's most intense rainstorms in years.
It's been probably pretty much the week every parent dreads having.
Now Davis, who had a 25-year career as a Navy pilot himself, is demanding answers from the Department of Defense about why his son was flying that day.
I've flown that route many times. I was just pretty much in shock that after I'd heard the magnitude of the weather.
Are you hoping that something could potentially come out of this investigation that might change the way the Marine Corps makes their decisions?
Yeah, if they don't, then these 5 Marines died in vain.
A spokesperson for the 3rd Marine Air Wing tells NBC News an investigation into the crash is ongoing. Military experts say leaders are always calculating risks when making decisions.
In combat, these aviation units are in bad weather, they're low level, they're at night, they're choosing to fly during those conditions, and they're facing enemy action. So you simply have to get out this envelope and train to what you're going to face.
This time, Davis says, the process failed, and now he's struggling to cope with the loss of his beloved son.
He was a patriot. He was selfless. He loved flying. He loved doing, being in the Marine Corps, and I guess he died doing what he really loved doing.
Trying to make sense of his son's sacrifice. Priya Shrithar, NBC News.
Well, a new storm system is threatening millions in the southeast with heavy rain, damaging winds, and hail today. We've got Michelle Grossman here on set with the latest forecast. Hi, Michelle. Good morning.
Hi there. Yeah, we are looking at all sorts of stuff with this storm. Another week, another storm. We're looking at that warm side that you just mentioned with severe weather threat. Also the chance for really heavy rain, flash flooding. But on the cold side, we're looking at the chance of some snow. So a really warm weekend in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Things are changing, though, over the next 24 hours. This is what radar looks like right now. So most of the rain is in the southeast, and we're going to see this all throughout the day. We're going to see the threat for severe storms all throughout the day here, and really heavy rain. That's where you're seeing those brighter colors. That's where we're seeing those downpours, and that's why we're concerned about flash flooding, even seeing a little purple from time to time, and that's indicating that we might be seeing some hail with some storms. So we do have flood alerts, 18 million people under flood watches. That's where you see the green. Also flash flood warnings. We're going to see these throughout the day. That means flooding is happening now or it's imminent because of all that heavy rain over very saturated grounds. Then as we move a little bit further to the north, we're going to see a transition to snow. We're going to first start out as rain in parts of the northeast New England. It's going to transition to snow, and it will bring some accumulating snow in spots. So we have 30 million people under winter alerts throughout portions of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, into the northeast, and also New England. It looks like the bullseye of really heavy snow will be parts of New England and then the interior parts of the northeast as well. 30 million people impacted. We have winter storm warnings as well. That's where you see the pink, and that's where we're going to see the heaviest amounts of snow. So let's talk about the severe side first. 10 million people at risk, especially where you see this yellow. So Albany, Savannah, Panama City, Mobile, under the gun for some strong storms. We could see some hail, a few tornadoes as well. Certainly we'll see some damaging winds, and we will see some very heavy rain. We're already seeing that. Where you see this hatched area, that is the likelihood for some really strong storms. Lots of rain with it too. It's all through portions of the southeast into the mid-Atlantic, back through portions of the Tennessee Valley. Again, that bullseye for really heavy rain is where you see those darker colors. And then we're going to see locally up to 4 inches of rain with those really heavy downpours. Flash flood risk, we have a risk of flooding, a risk of flash flooding, especially where you see this blue. So places like Charlotte, Raleigh, Columbia, Augusta, Athens could see some really heavy rain and could see some flooding rains. So this is what it looks like. We have that area of low pressure that's going to move up to the north and east. It's sort of going to combine with a coastal low, and that's where we're going to see that cold air pulled in, and that's where we're going to see the threat for some snow. It moves out quickly tomorrow, but we will see a really tough commute for many in the northeast, also New England, and some really gusty winds. Up to 4 inches of rain, as I mentioned, as we go throughout today into tomorrow. And here is the snow. We're going to see locally up to a foot of snow in some spots. Some models are saying a little bit more, especially where you see that pink color. So Boston, Hartford, looking at some really heavy snow, but also western New Jersey could see some really heavy snow, and parts of Hudson Valley. So there's lots of spots that could see some really accumulating snow. New York City could see 3 to 5 inches. We're going to watch this closely because we could even up those totals as we go throughout the afternoon hours with more models coming in.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking rain in my little app, but it might be snow.
Rain. And then it's going to transition overnight, and we're going to see some snow. We could see some bursts of snow at times, and it's going to stick. So we are thinking right now 3 to 5 inches.
Oh, good. I'm so happy to hear that.
Good.
I thought maybe we were done for the season.
Nope.
All right, Michelle, thanks so much.
Sure.
Well, now to Super Bowl 58, which took a little while to get going, but then ended with a bang. Kansas City Chiefs fans are celebrating big this morning after the team defeated the San Francisco 49ers in an overtime thriller that came down to the wire last night. The second half was a nail-biter, a back-and-forth affair, ending with the Chiefs taking home their second consecutive NFL championship. And that makes them the first team to repeat as champions in nearly 20 years. NBC News correspondent Kaylee Hartung, who had moved to Las Vegas essentially for us, she is there this morning. She has more. Kaylee, good morning. So, I mean, this is really showing, of course, right, why this is maybe the beginning of a dynasty here. Back-to-back Super Bowl champions, first time since the Patriots. Just walk us through some of the major moments from this overtime victory last night.
Yeah, and Savannah, not just back-to-back, but 3 in 5 years. That's pretty incredible. So this one, like you said, it started off slow. It was really a defensive battle in the first half. The 49ers got out to an early lead, a field goal, and then it took a trick play that ended with Christian McCaffrey, fresh off being named the offensive MVP of the league, in the end zone. And then the Chiefs caught fire, as you know they will. You let those guys stick around long enough, this is bound to happen. Mahomes started ginning up some magic. They'd been down 10, and then before you know it, we're tied in the final minutes of the game, going to overtime. What more can a football fan ask for? We got bonus football in the Super Bowl, Savannah. That is only the second time it's happened in the history of the game. You know, the 49ers, under these new playoff rules, they elected to take the ball first, could only get a field goal. And then it was as if that storybook ending was predetermined right in front of us. Mecole Hardman ending up in the end zone then that time for the Chiefs. And that guy, he still can't wipe the smile off his face. He was just on the Today Show. He hasn't slept. He says he blacked out when he caught that ball in the end zone, not even fully recognizing the magnitude of the moment until Mahomes got up in his face and made sure he knew he just won the Super Bowl for him. But listen to more here from Patrick Mahomes.
I can't even explain what was going through my mind. I was just extreme joy. Didn't even know where to go. Just it's so excitement, man. I'm so proud of the team, so proud of the guys, and to battle to the very end. I mean, that was a microcosm of our season. I said it, and everybody came together, and we were able to get the win.
Savannah, I'm at a loss for words at this point. Like I said, bonus football in the Super Bowl. How cool is that? it was a gift. It truly was.
Oh my gosh, it really was. And we're actually going to have Nicole joining us soon, shortly, just 20 minutes or so over here on our show. We're so excited to talk to him. Kaylee, so let's talk about just what it was like inside the stadium, what fans thought. So we have Mahomes named MVP, Chiefs now head coach, 3 Super Bowl wins. How excited were fans?
Oh my gosh, it was absolutely electric. I mean, Savannah, we've been talking all week about how the energy was building in Las Vegas, and it was everything that we expected and more inside Allegiant Stadium. There were stars all over the place, from Lady Gaga to Jimmy Kimmel, Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron. It was incredible. And then the fans, my goodness, the 49ers faithful. Heartbreak, absolute devastation and heartbreak for them by the end of this game, but they turned out in droves. But you could hear those Chiefs cheers throughout the night in a way that they are fully recognizing the magnitude of the moment and the greatness that they're experiencing.
I got to ask you about what you were just talking about, some of the star power. So obviously Taylor Swift winning in her rookie year, as I like to keep saying. And then we had the Usher halftime show, brought these surprise guests out. He was on rollerblades, which was very impressive to me. Tell us what else happened.
Okay, so the roller skates, I have seen his Las Vegas residency show, and that is an act that he started there. It's pretty incredible. No one fell off the stage from as far as I could see, but I was holding my breath, Savannah. It was an incredible show. I mean, you and I, we grew up with Usher, right? His 3 decades-long career. This halftime show was somehow able to span. He had all of the hits. Alicia Keys seemingly came out of nowhere on the piano. What a beautiful duet that was. And then, of course, as we expected, Lil Jon, Ludacris, Jermaine Dupri. Some disappointment there was no Justin Bieber, but I think that would be the only note anyone has on the halftime show. It was everything we hoped it would be. A big shout out to the city of Atlanta, his hometown, who Usher really wanted to represent. And yeah, no notes on that one.
Exactly. Also, so Beyonce made this announcement at the big game, kind of part of a commercial she was in, and then everybody's like, wait, this is a real thing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so she released 2 songs from her very highly anticipated album and this follow-up to Renaissance during a Super Bowl commercial and with some help from social media. And, you know, this all happening while she's right there hanging out at the game with Jay-Z. So that stole, I think, a little bit of Usher's thunder, perhaps, especially on social media. But, you know, the queen will be the queen. Let her go. It's the night of the Super Bowl. All the stars come out and all the big headlines get made. So add it to the list.
There you go. And, of course, we saw the post-game celebration with Taylor joining Travis on the field yet again. Things we love to see. Kaylee Hartung, thank you so much. I hope you get some rest. I hope you get to sleep in your own bed soon. We appreciate you all week.
Thanks, Savannah.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.